Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your continued support. Right, so today I'm going to be talking about the effects that these proposed cuts are already having on people. The stress, the uncertainty, the worry that it's causing people. It's on a website which I'm going to show you, and they've basically done a survey of 550 of their readers to find out how they feel about these proposed cuts. And some of the statements that they've given I'm going to read out to you, just so that you can hear and see what effect this is having on people. And I'm going to be sharing this on X as well to all the people who I think need to see it. Please do the same if you're watching this and you're able to share it to the people who need to know these things, need to know how these cuts are going to affect people. Go and visit them. I'm going to leave a link to the website in the description below this video. But I'm just gonna they did a survey. Now I'm gonna give you a trigger warning on this, because it does talk about certain subjects which could be sensitive to you. So if you don't like certain subjects regarding people's health and people's death, should we say, then just be aware that I'm going to be talking about these things in some of the statements that they have given. So the website did a survey of 550 actually of their followers on the channel. They did a survey, and some of the things that were written on this survey really are heartbreaking when you think about how this new 4-point descriptor and the cuts are going to affect people, because it's certainly a lot worse than the government will lead you to believe. So here's the first one. No names have been used, no real names have been used in this. So Saka, who is 43, lives with unstable borderline personality disorder and bipolar disorder. They told us that they struggle understanding the world and understanding what people mean. I'm vulnerable to abuse because I don't understand what's going on. I hear voices in my kitchen and I feel like I'm being spied on all the time. I tried volunteering and it sent me off the deep end. After being unable to volunteer and hearing about the PIP changes, I tried to end my life with tablets, and now I've got permanent stomach damage. Paul, who is 30, lives with bipolar disorder and said, during manic episodes I always end up in hospital. I've been trying to get part-time work for 6 months and have not been successful. This green paper has caused me extreme anxiety and prompted many unwanted thoughts. D, aged 43, lives with emotionally unstable personality disorder. They explained that I struggle with going out and being around people other than my parents more than once a week without extreme psychological stress. My mental health has worsened since the announcement in March, and I feel very fearful for the future, with little hope and serious thoughts of ending my life. Lily, aged 33, lives with schizophrenia and says they cannot communicate with others due to the extreme paranoia and I experience every day. They expect to lose $5,000 a year if the cuts go through. This will be catastrophic for me, as I will lose all sense of independence. My mum is my only carer, and as she gets older I'm aware that once she's gone I will be all alone. I feel suicidal at the prospect of these changes, and my symptoms are worsening. And it's also about the future in terms of these things. Daz, who's 42, lives with schizophrenia. They said, if it wasn't for my carer, I would spend all my income in the first 3 days of receiving it, which is solely from my universal credit and my PIP. Prior to my carer helping me 5 years ago, I ended up homeless and couch surfing, then ended up in hospital after being sectioned. My carer will lose her carer's allowance, then this will mean that she has to get a full-time job and no longer able to care for me. I will no longer be able to afford all my rent, bills and very little food. I will end up losing my home and end up back in a mental hospital. Sweet Night, who's 32, says she lives with schizophrenia, depression and anxiety. They said, speaking with others is difficult due to my schizophrenia, and my relationships with others can become volatile, harmful and unpredictable. I'm also not able to manage the motivation required to care for myself, to maintain my health, hygiene and appearance. I don't know how I would be able to maintain a job or who would hire me. And this is the biggest issue. And I don't mean this in a bad way or an uncaring way about people with disabilities or physical or mental health problems, but they're not the type of people that employers want to hire. It's just the way it is, and I don't see how the government can can say, oh, we'll cut your benefits, you'll get him back into work. I don't see how that's going to happen. But anyway, Sheepdog, who's 60, lives with borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia and arthritis. They said if they lose their PIP, I would not be able to pay for my carers. If I lose my care people, I would struggle to cope myself. And the last one I'm going to read, there are others on here, but the last one I'm going to read is an anonymous one. 53, lives with bipolar disorder and psychosis. They say that if the green paper cuts happen, I would only have £100 approximately left for going out, including bus fares and clothes. Clothes would need to come out of that too. In other words, I would become isolated with my mental health and would be back at rock bottom. I tried volunteering but still ended up in hospital. I am disabled and over 50 and know the reality is that younger and fitter people are chosen by employers in most cases, which is true. It is true. And also, I did a video a little while ago on the problems with the access to work system, for employers getting aids for people who are disabled in the workplace. It's a shambles. Businesses losing huge amounts of money because of it. Not able to hire people because they have to wait for these adaptations to be put in. There's such a long waiting list for funding. It's just a complete farce. It really is. So I'm not going to carry on with the rest of it. I'll let the rest of you read that article in full, and I'm going to leave a link to that in the description to this video. But I just wanted to point out these people aren't alone. There are lots of other people in a very similar situation, and so hopefully this video, I'm going to share this video on X to all the people who I think need to see it, and if you have the opportunity to share it, please do so as well, because I think they need to know that these people, people are scared, and that this isn't just the government saying it's going to be all right, because it isn't, and a lot of people know that it isn't. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Please do subscribe if you've got this far, because I talk a lot about benefits and the government and how things are going. I hope you are all well, and I will see you next time.